It's a great morning. Because it's Thursday morning on X-Ray FM. 7:30-ish. News of my fiancé tings. So it's an excellent morning. Good morning to you. And to us as well. I accept your good morning coming right back at us. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, fiancés.
Oh, yeah.
Ambush has breaking news for you all that happened just 1 hour and 30 minutes ago. And as the person who got today's document together, I was shocked to see an addition. And I think that it's your time to shine.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to give you this face. Our fans can't see it, but it's like my pensive Donald Trump face. In my head is what it looks like. And I laugh when I do it to myself. But I want to know, is it what you see? And you know the face I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like,
yours is not as exaggerated.
Okay. He be trying to figure things out on the fly. Listen, James Gunn, who not so recently took over the DCU, DC's cinematic universe,
copycats,
has released the first trailer for his first live action film in this new position
with DC.
And it is a Superman trailer teaser. It's 2 minutes, I think
Superman?
20 seconds. Who's Superman?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
All right. I think you should show yourself out.
No, who's playing Superman?
Oh.
I'm sorry. I thought that was an obvious question. I didn't think you could possibly think that I was asking who is Superman.
I was like, what trickery is she trying to pull? And who is the doppelganger? Aliens are among us.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
I'm not as mad at him. He's not a billionaire, you know? It doesn't seem like Clark is creating the crime that he then tries to solve. I'm just asking.
Okay. I'm not even sure how we got there. Wow.
Well, I am. Do you want to take that walk again? Good morning, fiancés.
Wow. Sheesh.
So who's playing Superman?
I'm not sure what the actor's name is. I'm not familiar with his previous works. Or I've seen him in something and didn't know it was him, which is more than likely. Because ambush is oblivious sometimes. You're missing the Johns. So often, Morgan and I are watching a show together, and I'm like, where do I know that guy from? And she's like, you know this person. You know this actor or actress. You know them. I'm like, I don't know. And then we'll IMDb it, which everyone should have IMDb on their, on like the first page of their phones, right there on the home screen. It's really helpful.
I was waiting for it right there on the home screen.
Right there on the home screen. That's where I keep it.
If anybody wants to know how Ambush talks to me all the time, it's like this. Are you looking that up? Do you have IMDb? I have it on my home screen. I want IMDb to be as useful as you find it.
Oh, man.
It is so much like the beginning of the internet.
Oh, it has no.
Oh, don't you dare.
That app has updated.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about the app. Why would I have the app?
Wait, so for all these years when I said IMDb should be on your home screen, you thought like I had like a
widget?
Yeah, or like a link,
a
hot link to the website?
I honestly, I didn't.
But you didn't think I had an app. It didn't like.
It never. I didn't. Right. I didn't think about it. It wasn't like I was like, oh, he must have the app.
No, that adds another layer of hilarity to it. And I'm like, have it on your home screen. And you're like, that ancient site? Sure. Great. At the ready for you. Congratulations.
I just, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked that the app is much better. But I'm not saying I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm saying I would be shocked.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be shocked. Fabulous. You can have a counselor and everything.
Good morning, fiancés. Good morning, Caes. I thought Ambush's good news was he was going to be second African American appointed to Trump administration, joining Elon Musk. I can't breathe. That literally hit me out of nowhere. like
Yeah. We got screen seasons text.
No live reads. No live reads.
Oh my God. There's Michelle in there.
Good, entirely deserved Batman slander morning.
Michelle.
Correct.
I need.
Good morning, Michelle.
What is it? What needs to happen here? Every once in a while.
You need to realize that billionaires are bad.
I think we've come to that conclusion. But what I'm saying is, why are we going back in history and now we want to take shots at billionaires that...
Pre-existing billionaires?
Why are we taking shots at pre-existing billionaires with murdered parents? They need a mind.
You know why they keep telling us about his parents? So that we don't think about the fact that he creates the conditions in which he then says, I'm going to fight.
Wow.
That's why they keep telling us about Mary and the other person. Is his mom named Mary? I feel like everybody's mom's named Mary in a comic. Martha. Mary. Hey, I was on track.
Mare.
It's all in there.
Either way.
Yeah. That's why. I mean, Batman is going to always be relevant until billionaires don't exist anymore. He's the absolute perfect example of why they shouldn't.
I mean, I do hear you. But if I may,
sure.
And I want us to, go too far in the comic book land. It's really the Court of Owls. They're the ones that are responsible for all the crime in Gotham. Legacy, billionaires, and,
No.
He's like the good billionaire.
That sounds like misdirection to me.
No, it's just...
Sounds like you have been brainwashed by capitalism.
No, it's just facts, bro. Actual facts.
I want you to think about what you just said to me. It's all facts. It's your response.
Jamie, could you tell us about the Superman trailer? Well, yeah, trailer dropped. I'm anxious to talk to my homeboy Ibrahim and definitely Andre, how they feel about it. This is kind of some of the things we discuss on A Podcast Has No Name. And Ibrahim did say he's kind of shook, kind of concerned. This was like 2 years ago about James Gunn doing Superman or just being over here messing around with stuff.
Tinkering,
he's like, I don't want him to get like his James Gunn on everything. Like that aesthetic on everything.
Don't want him to get his James Gunn
he's like,
on
I don't
everything.
Want to just,
That's
like,
hilarious.
He did bring up an interesting perspective for me that I hadn't really explored because I'm not a huge Superman fan. I will say Superman and Lois is an amazing television show. His whole thing was what Zack Snyder did with Superman was just this dark, brooding Batman version of Superman. And I'm like, yeah, Injustice Superman, love it. And he was like, that's not who Superman is.
That's not Superman.
He's like, Superman is hope. That's not who Superman is. Like, no, I don't like it. And I'm like, and everyone on the call was like, yeah. And I'm like, you guys are losers.
Yeah.
But anyway, see you on the next podcast. So this, and this is someone who is, illustrated Superman for DC.
Yes.
I love you so much. But yeah, so now that I'm seeing this trailer, and it's definitely 200% hope here. Like, this is classic Superman. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what he thinks. Yeah.
Well, I looked up the guy, and I got
you don't know
nothing.
him from anything either?
Not immediately, but he is from Philadelphia, so I feel like you should have already known him or something.
Oh, wow. Somebody's little brother I know or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Packard Cornsweet. I don't know if I'm
Cornsweet.
Cornsweet. I don't know how. I don't think I'm pronouncing it right.
I went to high school with a Cornsweet.
No.
You don't know that.
I do now.
Fine. You caught me red-handed.
Yeah, it's what I do.
Another on-air tale. Yeah, so, woohoo.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Superman trailer drop today, 6 a.m. PST. I'll take this moment to just give a quick shout out to our actual friend, Andre Middleton of Friends of Noise.
Yo.
For securing the funding to open the Offbeat, a non-alcoholic, all-ages venue that will take the place of the beloved former strip club, the Dancing Bear.
So nice. So dope.
And maybe it's not the. I think I'm doing what we do. I'm just adding to it. I think it's just Dancing Bear.
Oh. Dancing Bear.
Yeah. not the dancing bear.
And I'm not sure, but Friends of Noise used to have a show here on X-Ray. I'm not sure if they're still doing it. The youth would come in, the young youth would come in and do their show and run the boards themselves and be out.
The things that they learn are so incredible, and I'm just consistently proud of that program and what Andre is teaching kids, especially skills that you may not ever think you wanted to know.
Right.
And then, boom. Now you know how to set up sound.
Yeah.
Now you know how to run sound for a live event, which is a very big deal.
Right.
I don't think, if people are outside of that, don't really understand just how nuanced it is to run sound at a live event. So, anyway.
Yeah. Just giving the youth an outlet to explore their creativity and explore their curiosity around production, right?
Yeah.
Audio production, live event production. It's not a heavy commitment. You go in, if you're interested, see what's up. If not, hey, you just don't come back. But the situations that he exposes these kids to, they're able to do any and everything. And if they want to turn this into a lightweight career for them, if they want to pursue it to a greater degree, he opens those doors up. And these are paid gigs for these kids. Once they're trained, it's just like, man, it's amazing. It really is super dope opportunity here. Very proud of them. Very proud of all the work Andre has done. We've collaborated several times in the past. And it's never unamazing to watch his staff go to work. And I like seeing the turnover, being introduced to new youngsters, young folk every time I see him. Yeah. It's great.
Big shout out to Andre.
Yeah, big round of applause.
We got a text that says Friends of Noise is still on the air.
Nice.
I would read the rest, but it's questionable, so.
Pretty Blobfish, what up? Don't quote me on a day and time. Though.
Yeah, when you say that, then I'm not going to. I'm a chill. I don't know if y'all heard this, but the Matty Gaetz report dropping real soon. But you know what? I should have checked this morning to see if it did.
The rollout has been immense. An amazing rollout.
So if you'll remember, it was, I don't know, last month?
Yeah, just last month.
Everything feels very, who knows. When we were told that Matt Gaetz was being investigated for the potentially fraternizing.
That's the way to put it.
With the minors?
Mm-hmm.
For money.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how we say any of that?
Yeah.
And some allegations of some, illicit drug activity, maybe even at work. Maybe he was doing like the Don Jr., where just throw that coke in your pocket.
Yeah, that video was wild. That video was
hit them
so
gums
wild.
real quick, and then just keep watching a rocket launch.
I wonder if he was like raw dogging the coke in his pocket.
No, 1,000%.
Was it like an envelope or something?
I really hope it was just a pocket full of cocaine. I really hope that it was
come through
just
the fabric, right?
Dress pants with cocaine. No baggie.
Dude, that's definitely the name of a band. Dress pants with cocaine. Print the t-shirts now.
Yo. Yeah, So anyway, that not so great guy, Matt Gaetz, as you'll remember, was being investigated by the DOJ. Then there was a House investigation that once he resigned from Congress, everything stopped because, I guess you're just a regular dude now running or, possibly going to be the attorney general.
Right.
Then he withdrew from that, was like, I'm just a regular citizen, guys. You're attacking me. Stop talking about me. I'm just a reg guy.
Leave me be, bro.
And the people, that House Select Committee was like, actually, no, we're not.
Because you had to run, you're saying you might run for governor, and people still need to know as you're running for a public office what type of person you are.
It's I didn't finish the series House of Cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we still got to watch that last season. Up
to whatever season we got to. That's what this all very 100%. Much feels like. Like
100%.
Which little backroom deal did he not make good on that then someone was like, all right, force my hand, we're gonna have to do that. You know what I mean? Like
House of Cards and Veep are the perfect shows to pair together that completely describe the way
to understand works. American government.
Absolutely. So what they're saying is he has rubbed so many people the wrong way on both sides of the aisle that there are Republicans that were like, nah, man, drop it. No, let's go. Like, whatever. It
went from, the vote being along party lines
mm-hmm.
and they were not going to release it. And you got Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, saying, that would be unprecedented. There's no reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's no longer a person who's in Congress. We're not going to do that. Apparently, he's still like, I don't like it. But I think that's just out loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I also think that the speaker has a whole lot more sway within the committees than he's leading on in that moment.
I mean, he definitely moved in a way that he thought he inherited the Teflon nature of his pappy, Donald Trump. And he underestimated how much he bristled people when they went, him, Marjorie, I forgot who else was in their little coalition. And it was just like, okay.
Babe, it's called the Freedom Caucus.
Oh, yeah, those people. Yeah, bro. Nah.
I actually can't remember if that's what they call themselves. I think it is.
Yeah.
They're the maggots.
Yeah. Y'all sitting here calling people rhinos. No, listen, they're over it. They are far over you, bro. And an opportunity here to allow you to embarrass yourself. Oh, yeah. They don't even have to do anything other than say, release what's been found out about the things that he actually did. They don't have to pay for the Apple research and,
it's already done. Yeah. They know all these things.
Right.
We paid for it as taxpayers.
The other reason they know it is because this is stuff he does on the White House floor and shows everybody. And it's like, finally, Frat Gaetz, get him out of here. There's so many different accounts of him just like pulling his phone out, being like, hey, take a look at this on the floor, on the House floor. It's like, dude, come on, man. They're over him completely.
This text, the text says the speaker is fighting for his own job, so Gaetz is definitely sacrificable. Is that a word? It's working for me. Yes. I'll tell you that.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's these. Okay, these. I'm not. Yeah, I'm too dyslexic to try and remember the numbers. But, true. C's absolutely correct. He. Oh my God. I'm still just very much struggling with the idea that Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House.
Oh my God.
I'm very much struggling with the idea that many of the things that we're talking about are real.
Right.
That. Because what? I don't know why they have decided to let him be the one. But he has been sacrificable this entire time. And I've thought that he would be sacrificed a long time ago.
Yeah.
The fact that it's happening now, I think he knows that's what's happening. I think everybody else knows what's happening. He's probably been in many a talks where many people, whatever, have said, let's forget this. Let's look at governor.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He thinks he's going to be the governor of Florida. Which, as the segue queen around here, let's talk about Florida real fast.
Do it.
Because somebody's good friend, Jeff Bezos, is beating the system again. And just saved an estimated $1 billion in taxes for 2024.
Oh my God.
All just from relocating from Washington State to Florida. And I know that Donald Trump has come out here often and been like, yeah, tax evasion makes you smart. You are a total genius if you don't pay taxes.
There's a loophole. Why not use it?
Right. So I know that is many a person. I mean, I understand.
Right.
That people think that that's just like a good thing and that's a part of the system to beat. But that's because the richest people told you that was smart. They're literally taking money they owe us. And I mean us. Like, one of the biggest issues with billionaires is that we, as the country, continue to invest in their bright ideas and pretend as if they are some geniuses that figured something new out, when they're just tax cheats. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing everything they can to put all of their dirty fingers in different things so that they have different contracts within the government. And you know what I mean? Like, what's Starlink? We are funding it like we fund NASA. It's our NASA now.
Which is wild.
And that's the same. These are the same people that then tell you that the government is overspending and we're going to have to cut Social Security in order to, continue to fund Starlink.
That's where my confusion comes in as a voter, right? A voter on the opposite end, where you believe that these big billionaires should exist and they're great for the economy and trickle down, and you believe all the stuff that they sell you, while also knowing and buying into the idea of them not paying taxes because it's, hey, man, they do so much for us, which they don't. But then you also want the government reduced because you don't want the government's grubby little hands all over my libraries and my pools or swimming pools. And, you roll it back. We don't need all these programs. And the government's doing too much. So who's supposed to pay for all this crap? If you don't want the billionaires to pay their taxes, there's financial support coming from that side. And you don't want the government to do what it's supposed to do with social services and everything. What have you been sold on? You're just supposed to be out.
Privatization. That is what they have been sold on. Bootstraps, baby.
Just get a fourth job.
If I can do it, you can do it. I really want you to understand how many billionaires have said that.
Oh, yeah.
While also saying no one can do what I do.
That's why you should give me all of these passes. Because only I can bring this small town back. Let me get in here. No property taxes, abatements, all the things.
So, back to Bezos real quick.
Ugh.
Florida's lack of state income tax and capital gains tax allowed him to sell $13.6 billion in Amazon stock without incurring a significant state tax bill. So in Washington State, our buddy over here, that sale would have cost him approximately $954 million. So getting close to a billy, right? But you're selling $13.6 billion.
You gotta be kidding me.
You paid nothing in Florida. You did nothing. He now lives in Indian Creek Village, which is a highly exclusive enclave known as the billionaire bunker or something, or billionaire boy bunker friends. I don't know. But there, he purchased 3 mansions for nearly $250 million.
Are they next to each other?
Pocket change. I don't know, but I think that he's just basically positioning himself in Florida because they don't have estate tax in the same way. So whoever his heirs are.
To 300 and something million?
250 million.
200.
But that was 3 mansions. I just, you know.
It is pocket change.
Oh, completely.
He bought it with a fraction of what he saved in taxes.
Like,
A third. Wow. Okay.
He cashed out billions in stock and remains the second wealthiest person in the world with a net worth of almost $250 billion. And he would not. He moved residencies. He's changed, not just like, oh, I'm a pop over to. I mean, he left region
right.
to be able to keep $1 billion away from us.
Oh, man.
And I want to be very clear because we got to go to break. But you are probably going to or have already seen certain things circulating about him and his modest salary. And I want to be very clear that Jeff Bezos, everything he says is an admission of I am stealing from you directly to our faces. It's just said it in a different way. But like, he reportedly had an annual salary of like $80,000. So much money, or you're right.
Right.
You do that so you're not paying taxes.
Exactly.
You do that. Money isn't real. These are decimal points in computers, right? And he literally doesn't have to do anything. That he shouldn't draw the 80K. But that is a feel good story for people. That's a well, look.
He only pays himself, but what does he have to pay for?
He only pays himself $80,000 a year. Well, then, as the CEO, that was his salary as the CEO of Amazon, right? Why would the next CEO be getting paid gabillions?
Right.
Why do other CEOs make so much money? If what you're telling me is money equates to the job being done, why aren't other CEOs in that modest salary range?
Right. Ooh.
Like when the money isn't liquid and it's stocks and it's, investments and it's offshore and whatever. Like, these people are making themselves appear that they don't have money so they don't have to pay the same taxes that you and all of us pay. They make, a very substantial amount of money flatly from wage theft alone. By exploiting not just the employee, but the consumers. By using all sorts of things, technology to be able to continue to cover their tracks.
Right.
And somehow the story about him is I paid myself $80K and look how smart I am. I saved $1 billion in taxes. I don't know how many years we need to be talking about this, but they should not exist. They are ruining our ability to live.
Facts.
And I am not saying that you unalive them. I'm saying you make it impossible to amass that much wealth. And I'm not saying you go back to them with the wealth that they already have and say, give it back, it's mine now. I'm not even saying that. Which I'd like to say.
But let's cut the loopholes. Let's stop. Let's start there. Make them pay taxes.
But we absolutely can't get anywhere if we are not understanding what the tax dollars do for us. And too many people don't understand because there are billionaires paying to confuse us. You know what I mean? Like, you own multiple industries. Like, if you have a website, you're likely paying Jeff Bezos in some way, shape, form, or fashion at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Their tentacles are everywhere is where I was trying to go. And we are not in a position to continue to allow a person who owns, you know, a very large media outlet, along with the largest e-commerce site, along with another space whatever, because I just want to dump my money into my fun projects rather than...
I don't want you guys to pay for it.
I don't want you to have access.
Mm-hmm. But definitely, let's get this government contract so you guys can pay for it. The government that I'm not paying into.
Sorry, I messed up your thing.
Yeah.
So we got to get it moving forward.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Before we jump into our first music break, I know you guys have been concerned and want to give you the latest from DRONEWATCH. DRONEWATCH, watch, drone, watch. This just in, I am in total agreement with Rand Paul. And it took a false flag operation from our federal government to do it. Ambush. But whatever do you mean? I will tell you. Pipe down. So, we've been talking about these drones a couple of weeks now, you know? The government's official word is, hey.
Pipe down.
Pipe down, guys. Nothing to see here.
Those aren't lights.
Are these even drones? They're probably commercial airplanes. Oh, so the ones that you have on video? Listen. Hear me out. They're not from a foreign country. They pose no threat. Oh, what can you tell us about it? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing other than that.
Can't tell you nothing. But, you know, no threat. Don't worry about it. Well, they're shutting down airports. Don't worry about it.
Well, that's silly. They're not really doing that.
You're confusing that with something else. Yesterday, I hear of a bill being introduced. I can't remember the name of the bill. DRONEWATCH bill. But basically, it's to address the current situation, or as Chuck Schumer, I believe, worded somewhat like a crisis that we're dealing with these drones. And the way he painted it was that this gives authority at the state level for local law enforcement to engage with the drones. Rand Paul hops up, was like, nice try, buddy. What this actually does is violate our privacy. If these things are, and I will say he definitely was like, if the Biden administration is telling us that there's nothing to worry about, then there's nothing to worry about, and we don't need new bills or legislation to address this. But if there is something to worry about, the Biden administration needs to come clean. Because what this bill allows the government to do now is gather large swaths of cellular information and data from people within an area that is being investigated or surveilled because of drone usage.
Of a questionable drone.
Bruh.
That the government, who does in fact know what you ate for breakfast, has no idea what's up there. But what the one thing I do know is that it's not harmful.
Right. One of those governors was like, it might have been the mayor. It was like, so the government that could read my ID from space.
That's what I'm saying.
Can't tell me where this drone goes.
There is just
it's like, come on, guys.
Some of it is just so silly that it's hard to even make sense of, like, why is this even something being talked about?
Yeah.
Rand Paul is one of those people. Well, no, let me take that back. One of those libertarians.
There it is.
That is, you know, a broken clock. You're going to be right at some point. And I understand how people start the, rabbit hole of libertarianism. Yeah. I just don't understand how they stay there. Unless you're willing to be like, yeah, the federal government shouldn't have been involved and slavery should continue.
Right.
Let the states decide.
States' rights.
Anyway, very rarely do you or I agree with Rand Paul.
Yeah.
But this very much is like the Patriot Act times 5011.
Yeah.
And we haven't revisited the way that we have needed to when it came to the Patriot Act. And maybe what the government has been allowed to do based on the actions that they were even at that point unwilling to take on their own responsibility for why someone might want to drive, fly a plane somewhere near here. You know, like it is exactly the same thing. Here you are telling us this thing is no big deal, but also we need new legislation for it. And we're going to have to be able to tap right into everybody's phone right around it because it could be anybody.
Right.
You know, those, hey, Bluetooth, huh?
You know what would have made us feel better about this whole drone situation? Not being in the dark about it. So you keep us in the dark about it to raise our suspicions and cause panic. And then you want us, the American people, to support a bill that would further violate our privacy. Here's the thing. Since the days of X-Files, since the movie Eagle Eye, since so many conspiracies, since my early Alex Jones days, right? I have never believed that any piece of data or intelligence that our government wants is out of their reach.
Because it's not.
Right. When if y'all want it, y'all got it. You know why? Because it's on American soil. So it's kind of like you own it. It's ours to begin with. That you also play those games internationally. So, yeah. So what you want me to do now is be okay with you telling me to my face that, you know, if the situation dictates, I need to be able to comb through your entire phone without you knowing. And the person next to you, and the person next to you, and the person next. Everyone in this 5 mile radius, we need to be able to just sweepingly because, you know, that's going to help us figure out what to do with this drone. Shoot it the heck down. Bring it down. Bring it down, guys.
Well, they're not shooting it down because it's theirs. You know?
Right. There it is. That's why they told local law enforcement, don't shoot them down, guys. It's illegal
to shoot it down. Don't touch. No touchy. No looky. No touchy.
Don't shoot our drones down, bro.
Bro, I'm tired of okay, you're doing testing. Y'all should have just been said that.
At all. Just for real, from the jump.
What's so weird to me is that secrecy. Because it sure, fear, all those things. But once it's like, wait, so it was y'all the whole time and you were doing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then it's not, we don't really come back to that. We got a couple of texts.
Yeah.
It looks like I don't want to take it from you.
John nailed it. Thank you for mentioning this, John. I forgot about this aspect. Says highly likely that the drones are searching for something. Best guess is the missing radioactive isotopes that were supposed to be delivered in New Jersey, but the cargo was missing and the container was damaged. Something similar happened in Spain a few months ago. I don't know if anyone's paying attention. John is connecting the dots. We have radioactive isotopes that are missing. They were supposed to be delivered to New Jersey, and this happened previously in Spain. What you're hearing right now is the rise of Cobra. Cobra Commander is back. Oh. They're pulling together resources. He's got Destro on the move. Weather Dominator.
Jewish space lasers?
They're working on the Weather Dominator, guys. This is awesome. What a time to be alive. Go, Joe.
Real quick, as you get the music break ready, a couple of other texts that we got. Not taking a salary in regard to Jeff Bezos getting 80 grand. Not taking a salary makes for a great story. We saw Trump didn't take a salary for the first go round, and his followers hailed him as a hero for that. Meanwhile, Secret Service had to pay him rent in New York and Florida, etc., and all his residences to protect him.
Yep.
Sees exactly that.
Yep.
You're not taking, they are leeches. you are not taking a salary, and I'm supposed to be excited by that, but you also ran as I'm a billionaire and I'm going to fund my own campaign. And then you duped a bunch of people and made them pay for it.
Right.
And then you were like, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. And then they didn't. And you lied and said, I made the wall anyway, but you didn't.
Right. And your man sold bricks.
We as taxpayers are then paying for your Secret Service to be at Mar-a-Lago and Times Square and all of this, because you also don't want to live at the White House because that's boring. Like, you did nothing but suck money out of the government.
Right.
And then sorry, I don't have anything but cuss words. And then you are reelected and have something like just invite Elon Musk to chew on wires of the government and shut it down and say, actually, guys, we shouldn't be spending money on those things because, in fact, Starlink does need more money.
Right. Right.
Just leeches. Another text says, I saw a commercial where you can link your Prime account to your Grubhub account. Jeff is literally everywhere, or really everywhere. Yes!
Matt. Mm-hmm.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
What those got to do with each other? There's supposed to be separation. There's supposed to be competition within capitalism, right?
That's what they told us. That's how it's,
a market that I'm free to decide on which company I get to go to. But, you know, Grubhub is out here currently being not just sued, but they have been fined by the FTC for doing all of those junk fees. So,
oh, wow. And it's ridiculous.
Bruh.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were fined $140 million and Grubhub was like, ooh, we ain't got it. It's a lot of money. And they were like, cool, $25 million for now. And that's basically going to be refunding customers that you deceived.
Wow.
And if you do not make good on the $25 million, or if we find out that you do in fact have $140 billion in your pocket, it's ours. So Jeff is currently figuring out how to hide that.
How to make that work. You said, which pocket you guys going to look in? I want to know which one.
Yeah.
John said, thank you for taking it straight to G.I. Joe. No, John, thank you for reminding me what's at stake. One of the legislators in New Jersey, he mentioned that like 2 days ago. He said, you know, my concern is these things, since they don't want to tell us what's happening, what we have clearly been able to see is these things are flying in a pattern. They are looking for something. He said, and I'm concerned about what they're looking for. What's lost? Why aren't you telling us that?
I bet it's someone's mom.
Your mom's lost, bro. So we got the drones out. Yeah, this is nasty. Trust the government.
So we're gonna get into maybe one story. I don't know, like what we plan to cover today in local news. If you haven't heard, Juror 35.
5.
Pretty big happenings, goings on in the Multnomah County Courthouse. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna go over the declaration that a juror made after reaching a verdict in a murder case that's from 2020 but was just handled. National news, Joe Byron back on his ear.
Yo, messy boots.
My
Shout
man
out to
said,
Caes and the homies in Pennsylvania. Messy boots, dog.
Man said, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, guys.
These pardons, bro.
I'm pardoning willy-nilly. And you can't tell me that I can't.
Nasty work, Joe Byron.
So hopefully we get to the Daniel Penny, Luigi Mangione story, which is really just about comparing how the media and the public at large are responding to those two different instances, those two different 26-year-old folk.
Vigilantes. Yeah.
And you know what supporting certain causes looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, We'll hop into the Juror 35 when we get back from the break.
Thank you guys so far. You've been active. Holiday season. I love it. Oh, I'm sorry. Speaking of which, Morgan purchased the best eggnog I have had in my entire life yesterday. And this is no exaggeration. You guys know I love to exaggerate. No exaggeration. Of my years of drinking eggnog, which I'm so fond of it. I don't know why I don't drink it year round. I do treat it like a holiday treat for myself. She brought home some Southern Comfort eggnog. For any of you out there that are eggnoggers, such as myself, fellow noggins, please get you, what's that, a half gallon?
I don't know. It looks like a carton of milk.
Yeah. Half gallon of eggnog, Southern Comfort. It is reasonably priced, and it is delicious. It's legit. And I'm going to apologize for anyone
feels like an ad
that doesn't, like this feeling or this texture. It's like drinking a milkshake. Don't need a straw. Let it get a little bit thawed out. Oh, the way it was clenching the glass. Anyway, you did a thing. You did your big one. Morgan Jones.
Musical break 20 minutes ago, please.
All right. And welcome back to News of My Fiancé with Morgan Jones and DJ Ambush right here on X-Ray FM. Shout out to everyone listening on terrestrial radio, on the FM dial, and shout out to those listening online through the app or through the website, coast to coast. We messes with y'all. I was showing my great appreciation for the eggnog that Morgan brought home before the break. And I got a text, really solid text. Agnostics, rise up. The time is now. It is our time.
Time is now.
It is our time. For anyone that missed that, it was a soft endorsement for Southern Comfort because I really, really enjoy that eggnog. This is not a paid ad. It's just really good. Okay. All right.
So we're going to hit into this Juror 35 story. And Fiancés, what I want to know, because I have desperately wanted to be on a jury my entire adult life.
A real one, too. Not one of those little punk trials. You don't want to be on the trial for someone doing, graffiti.
I certainly don't.
Yeah.
But
you want something with some meat on the bones.
Yeah. But I've desperately wanted to. I've been called to jury duty twice. I have never been even picked. But not even, I haven't even been taken into, I've never been questioned. I've been through no process of elimination. I have been in a pool and I have been out of that pool. You know what I mean?
What'd you have on?
It's a fantastic question.
What were you wearing? Public Enemy sweatshirt? What were you doing?
I certainly wasn't. Okay? I was trying to get picked. Probably even had my hair straight.
Sure, I wore my red, white, and blue.
There were stars everywhere. Stars, stripes.
And I hate that comment.
America. That's all I was going to say. Every answer. America. But I want to know if you guys have y'all served on a jury? And if you have and you delivered a verdict, in that deliberation, did you feel good about the way that went? And if you didn't, did you do anything?
Right. Did you feel like you could?
Could you? Yeah. Would you, if you haven't, in your mind, are you like, well, if these things were happening, I'd have something to say about it? Or would you just, be intimidated by the process? But this story is very fascinating to me, and I will let you take it away.
All right. The murder conviction in jeopardy after jury allegedly manipulated video evidence during deliberations. Say what? Yeah, that's right. Happened here. Local news. A controversial legal development has emerged in the case of Colby Benson, convicted of second-degree murder for the September 2020 shooting death of Christopher Klein in Portland, Oregon. Lawyers for Benson have filed a declaration after a juror came forward with a startling revelation. The jury allegedly enhanced surveillance video footage during deliberations, a move that may have played a pivotal role in securing the guilty verdict. The case centers around the killing of Klein, 30, who was shot multiple times near Burnside Street and 122nd Avenue. The prosecution presented surveillance footage from nearby gas stations, apartments, and public transportation systems, allegedly showing Benson around the area all day, including during the time of the shooting. However, the clarity of the video evidence came into question during jury deliberations. According to court filings, juror number 35, who later contacted Benson's defense team, disclosed that the jury struggled to reach a consensus after initially reviewing the footage. The juror explained, in an attempt to gain a clearer view of the evidence, one of the jurors Googled how to zoom in on the video using the software provided to the jury. This allowed the panel to isolate frames and enhance certain portions of the footage, which they believed helped clarify key details of the case. Benson's attorney, Ryan Paak, argues that this manipulation of video footage violated the fundamental rule that jurors are not allowed to conduct independent research or investigations. In their motion for a new trial, Peck stated that the enhanced video was pivotal in securing the guilty verdict. Juror number 35, in a declaration submitted to the court, expressed regret over the jury's actions, stating that the video had the video been viewed in its original format, they would have voted not guilty. The juror further noted that the enhanced footage allowed the jury to see details that were not apparent in the original video, and that the decision to enhance the footage was a significant factor in reaching a unanimous verdict. The juror also left a note for the judge after the verdict stating, the state did not meet their burden of proof. We did it for them. That's awesome. In response, prosecutors have downplayed the significance of the juror's disclosure, arguing that zooming in on the video during deliberations was not equivalent to manipulating the evidence. Multnomah County Deputy District Attorney Samuel Wilton contended that the jury's actions were no different than viewing the video on a larger screen or adjusting the brightness, which are common practices in courtrooms. Judge David Rees, who presided over the trial, has ordered a hearing to further investigate the allegations. The hearing scheduled for today, December 19th, will focus on determining whether the jury used any software to manipulate the video, and if so, how it may have impacted the deliberations. Rees has instructed both juror number 35 and the jury foreperson to testify, along with expert witnesses to assess the nature of the software used and its effect on the video evidence. The case has raised serious questions about the integrity of the jury deliberation process and the potential for unfair influence on a verdict. Legal experts, including retired Washington County Circuit Judge Kristen Thompson, have expressed concern over the allegations, noting that any manipulation of evidence outside of the courtroom could undermine the fairness of the trial. As the legal battle continues, Benson's defense team is pushing for a new trial, arguing that the jury's actions compromise the fairness of the conviction. The outcome of the upcoming hearing could have significant implications for the case and for the broader legal standards surrounding jury conduct and the use of video evidence in criminal trials. Now, off top, it sounds like much ado about nothing, but when it's the state's job to present the evidence to the jury, and that's what the jury's supposed to go off of, anything past that is like, yeah, man, especially if, the state just didn't do their job to prove their case.
So I will say that, we happen to know Juror 35. And what is very interesting and fascinating for me in this story is just how disconnected even processes that are supposed to be these smooth running processes are. So if you are a judge, you are not in the deliberation room. If you are a lawyer, you are not in the deliberation room. And I don't know how often lawyers, and I'm pretty sure judges aren't making it on juries. But I don't know how often lawyers or defense or prosecuting lawyers are on juries either, you know? So the process itself is supposed to be, you take the instructions from the judge, and you are specifically supposed to mull over the evidence that was provided to you. Nothing outside of that scope. You're not supposed to Google or research the case on your own. You're not supposed to find out other facts. And that is one of the things that, you know, for stuff that's really public, like, you know, a Kyle Rittenhouse thing, he had done and said many things that the jury never got. And they don't get to consider things that they don't get.
Right.
That is what,
right.
You know, where the fairness comes in. Is it admissible? If it's admissible, it's a different story. If it's not, you aren't supposed to consider it. So you shouldn't know about it if it's inadmissible, right? We got a text that says the jury should have asked the judge if the video could be enhanced. If the judge said no, the jury should have made their decision based on what they had. The defense should definitely appeal the decision. Jurors are told to render a verdict based on evidence presented, not what they've created or want. Absolutely. What it sounds like to me is how certain processes, you know, like we've got all these processes that we're supposed to go through that have longstanding, you know, tradition and whatever.
Precedents.
Sure. Yeah. Like, but they don't, we don't keep up with technology. We don't keep up with what those abilities are. And so.
Are you talking about gun rights? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I feel like
they'll tell you that you can't Google the case, but can you Google other things to help you reach a decision? And I know in this particular case that the footage that they received was a longer, like it was more footage than what was shown in the courtroom. Mm-hmm. So that had already sort of, what is this gray area? And what it sounds like to me, honestly, is like folks really trying to understand, do the job of, or, you know, do this job in the way that they're supposed to. However, there is this human nature thing of solving the puzzle, right? And if the evidence you've been presented with creates more questions than it does answers, and now you've got like someone who knows how to enhance video. Right. And you're going frame by frame, which the state never did. The state never gave you a frame by frame. The state never was able to give you a clear view of who they're saying the person is. None of that happened. And then y'all are able to do that. I think there's a question there.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And I absolutely understand that feeling of unease. Like, yeah, we came to this decision, but not because we should have question marks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, not maybe
the way we were instructed.
And the thing is that's a tricky thing. It isn't necessarily that they didn't follow the jury instructions. It may be that those instructions don't include. Also, don't Google to find out what software you're using to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it may not be that direct, and it may need to be.
Right. I mean,
and really, that's what this question is. What we have in place, is that sufficient? Are those jury instructions sufficient? Because this is what happened here. And the prosecution is definitely going to downplay this and be like, it's just the same thing as dimming the lights or brightening the screen.
It works in their benefit.
Correct.
Yeah.
But this isn't like they were passing around a laptop, like this is HDMI'd to the big screen and they're watching it on a screen. It's just someone who is able to pause and go frame by frame, zoom in. And I know that the words enhance or manipulate sound like you did some magic to it. Mm-hmm. But the truth of it is, you don't know what software is doing what. And by that, I mean, Zoom features include AI, and it depends on what version, like it's filling in the gaps. Yeah. And you don't know if those gaps are being filled by a thing that actually happened or what they're guessing happened.
Right.
So when you're going that route, we need to know if that's the thing.
So we got a text which ties directly into the point that you just made. Someone said if a juror can't read text on a piece of paper, they're not allowed to use their glasses. So excellent question. Now, do your glasses have AI? No. Are the glasses going to manipulate? Can your glasses give you anything other than clarity? They're not adding to the photo. They're not adding to the image. So when we're talking about manipulation,
that's the tricky part.
Right. That's the tricky part. Also, as the evidence is presented, so if someone's giving you a piece of paper that's part of the evidence, you're not able to get the book that piece of paper was taken from. They're giving you that one sheet of paper. You don't have access to the rest of the notebook. And that's what was admissible. They were given the okay to submit this video evidence the way they presented it. Fine. For the jurors to have access to, was it a much longer?
Yeah, much longer video footage.
For them to be able to go frame by frame, and that's not how the evidence was presented. Right. So that changes aspects of what they get to, rule on.
And I like that idea, that analogy. If the juror can't read a piece of paper and they use their glasses, like you already nailed it, explained that, but it is so much different to me. Like if you were unable, you crushed your glasses and you weren't able, so someone read it to you. You're now relying on their ability to read, and you are relying on their take, their interpretation.
That's a better comparison. They're adding inflections.
Could be.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's going to happen every time, but I'm saying that the possibility is there. Yeah. And that does change the way that people receive information.
Yeah. Yeah. Really
and
good.
So...
go ahead. Really good text from Caes. The other one you read was also Caes. So, if the evidence creates more questions than answers, the verdict is not guilty. The prosecution didn't prove their case. It's not on the jury to prove the case for them. Not guilty. The jury is not Columbo.
Yeah. I mean, this is exactly my take. My take is, as much as I believe that people are well-meaning in those moments, and I don't think, from my understanding, I don't think it was like, how do we make this guy guilty? Right. It sounds very much like it was a painstaking, we understand the weight of this. We understand that this is a person who may go to jail for most of their life, Yeah. And the weight of that, I think what happens is you start to maybe get detached from that very thing that they start with, which is you have to, the burden of proof is on the state. They're the ones who are making this claim, and they're the ones who have to prove it. The defendant does not have to prove that they did or didn't do that. Like, that's not what it is.
Right.
And so if the state doesn't meet the burden, that's that. And that is in the jury instructions, right? Like, but the fact of the matter is, we are living in, the last 10 years, I don't know, maybe a little bit more than that, has been an absolute wave of armchair detectives and, true crime listeners and true crime. We are all Columbo if we want to be. And if you get a bunch of people that are like, well, we got to figure this out. Oh, look, they gave us all this other evidence. We can just, or footage. We'll just pore over this footage. We can figure this out.
We don't need you guys.
And the fact of the matter is, you're not supposed to do that.
At all. Yeah. Yeah.
There is a disconnect, especially for folks who do not have contact with the criminal justice system. There's a disconnect that all the things that are being presented to you are exactly what happened, or that it's the only theory that makes sense, or whatever. The most important thing to keep in mind as a juror is it is better to let a guilty person go free than it is to put an innocent person in jail.
Morgan, what? Let a guilty person go free, then our streets will be Gotham City.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but we already live there if you listen to anything else.
Even though
again, I'm going to remind everybody that I saw a full-blown just regular Ferrari just out there on 4th the other day. Like,
right.
That isn't right next to the drug den.
No one was trying to break into it and steal the radio.
Not a soul.
Oh, my God.
Amazing. You just do parking kitty for Ferraris? Is that how that works?
Also, reminder, we should probably just do this quarterly. Crime is down.
We should probably do it every day.
Nationally. Crime is
quit
trending
listening
down
to
the
idea. The idea is the wrong word. Propaganda.
There it is.
That is literally just meant to spend more of our money on police.
Right.
But there is the preponderance of the evidence. Like there's a job that has to be done, and that job, everybody has their role in this system. And I think as technology advances, and not just technology, but society, we are really like the true crime podcast shows, entertainment wave is humongous. And the group of people that live in that are in the jury pool. You know what I mean? Like it's all sort of all encompassing. Young to old, people are like, I will solve this crime. Yeah. I am one of those. I'm people.
Yeah. We watch people do it all the time. All the time. And when you mentioned technology just now, just, things need to catch up, need to stay up. As someone who has a phone, like you said, who watches videos on their phones all the time, we all do it. If you can't see something, you pinch. It's like inherent, right?
Right.
This is just what I'm doing, and I'm confused. I want to zoom. Like, it's part of the interaction with the technology, with the media.
Yeah.
With that form of media.
Yeah.
So if someone's presenting video to you, your mind automatically going to be like, why don't we just pinch? Why don't we
zoom it.
Just zoom it.
Just go in.
There's no party who's going to be like, now we're investigating. I'm literally just zooming, guys.
And there's where I'm going, is that I can very easily sometimes just be like, oh, that jury got it wrong. And, look at them trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
This very much seems like what our lives are now.
Yeah, period.
And that we do zoom in on everything. Okay, I won't speak for everyone, but I certainly do. And I'm extra nosy. Like,
nevertheless, if it was your job,
what's in the background happening back there?
Right.
Like I'm the person watching scary movies, looking nowhere near whatever is in the forefront, and I'm only looking in the shadows. Like,
she's a background type of gal.
I gotta solve the crime. And I don't even mean crime. I just mean mystery. Yeah. I want to solve the mystery. So I'm not even looking. I will miss a jump scare because I was looking for the person to be coming out from, a window.
The couch that you're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do that. You're like, something's going to come from behind there.
Yeah, something's about to pop out. I know it. You're not going to catch me.
Sorry,
guard.
Jack.
Not this time, brother. Real quick, in regard to me saying I want to be on a jury real bad, C said, Morgan, you got to stop standing up when they say, do you have issues with police?
Yeah, I feel like that's going to disqualify you 9 times out of every time.
So it wasn't my no cops pin, and it's not the sticker on my phone that says this machine films police.
They were like, "Do you have issues with police?" You're like, "Why, yes." Oh.
I am the exact opposite. So one of my favorite episodes or what got me hooked way back in the day to 30 Rock was Liz Lemon was called for jury duty and she was trying to get out of it. So and immediately I'm like, what do you mean get out of it? Get fired from your job. This is your duty. Get in there.
Duty as a citizen.
Yeah, you got to do this. But she like dressed up as Princess Leia and gets there and is trying to just be like
cuckoo
super weird so that they just. So I think about that a lot when I'm like, if I were on a jury, I would, like my grandma used to always tell me, make sure you dress smart. I'm dressing smart.
Right.
Everybody's going to think that I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've never even gotten into the place where they ask me a question, Caes. That's the problem. They didn't clock me from the gate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I definitely, no paraphernalia. I'm not bringing in my no cops button or abolitionist anything. I'm not.
He was showing up with a pantsuit, dressing smart.
Listen.
With a little bow.
Hillary Clinton down.
Listen.
Flip the bob and everything,
Oh my God. I do want to hop into this Joe Byron story.
Good luck. We have 9 minutes.
Yeah. It goes out. So, Joe can't even get the pardon right. Honestly, when I saw this, first thing that popped in my mind was like, see, this old man, this is a Weekend at Bernie's move. But it's a little bit more sinister than that, guys. Joe Biden is facing significant backlash following a series of clemency decisions that critics argue undermine his administration's commitment to justice and accountability. While Biden has previously championed criminal justice reform, these recent acts of clemency have led many to question his priorities.
Among the most contentious decisions is the commutation of Michael Conahan's sentence. Ambush, you will remember, Conahan, a former Pennsylvania judge.
Oh, yeah.
Was a central figure in the Kids for Cash scandal. Fiancés, we definitely talked about this years ago.
I was so upset.
Where he accepted $2.8 million in kickbacks for sentencing juveniles to private detention centers, often for minor infractions. Families of the victims and advocacy groups have expressed outrage, accusing Biden of betraying the very communities he vowed to protect. Sandy Fonzo, whose son was unjustly sentenced by Conahan's, am I saying his name right?
Mm-hmm.
Conahan's colleague, and later died by suicide, stated, "This pardon erases the pain and suffering of countless children and their families." Mm. Another clemency decision drawing criticism involves Rita Crundwell, a former comptroller of Dixon, Illinois. I'm just going to say this real fast. Illinois, y'all got some stuff popping.
Yeah, y'all do.
So,
y'all do.
Why is everybody so bad? This comptroller embezzled nearly $54 million from the town over 2 decades.
Fam, that's who you give clemency to?
Yeah. Biden's rationale for the commutation, citing rehabilitation and remorse, has been met with skepticism, particularly from Dixon officials who described the clemency as a travesty of justice.
I remember Rita Crundwell. She had like a ranch.
Okay.
Yeah, there was something about, like, I remember I was like, it was almost like Tiger King in the way of, just in the way of, I have all this money, so my entire life is going to be this aesthetic. And I remember just being like, you spending money on really weird and ugly stuff. But
well, it wouldn't matter because it wasn't her, man. I guess. Never mind.
Yeah.
The backlash has extended to Biden's own party, with progressive lawmakers and activists questioning the administration's commitment to justice reform. Some have called for greater transparency in the clemency process, arguing that decisions like these erode public trust. Republicans have seized the opportunity to criticize Biden. I wonder what about. Framing the clemencies as evidence of misplaced priorities. Senator Bernie Sanders warned that such actions set a dangerous precedent for future presidential pardons. The White House has defended the clemency decisions, emphasizing the president's belief in second chances and rehabilitation. In a recent statement, Biden reiterated his commitment to addressing systemic injustices while acknowledging that clemency decisions are often complex and controversial. Ambush, my question to you immediately is, why has he not learned anything the entire time he's been alive?
Because he's reached his capacity for learning. Once he hit I don't know.
105?
Yeah.
In the brain?
Yeah. Once he hit that age, everything else just bounces back. He doesn't have the bandwidth. And the people around him are taking advantage of the situation. Period. If you want me to believe that some of these people got pardons and clemency, and there are people who are responsible for putting this list together and presenting it to the president that aren't getting some kickbacks, that aren't getting some situations moving in their favor, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, I got a bridge to sell you.
In Idaho.
Yeah.
The corruption is so loud. Like, my thing, I've had this question since he pardoned Hunter. Why didn't you wait? Why didn't you wait until your last day or something so that you wouldn't even have to send your press people out to say, yeah, this was a smart move for us?
Right.
Just leave it. It's like a couple more weeks, bud. You know what I mean? Second, wasn't this that same dude that was out here running on, criminal justice reform? Not no defund the police, because that's too woke. But definitely we got to take a peek at this system. I think there might be some black people that are in jail that shouldn't be.
But instead,
this is the same person who was talking about nonviolent, very specifically marijuana arrests, any cannabis related, because now we out here making money off of it. Maybe people shouldn't still be in jail. None of those things have made movement.
Instead,
no traction.
You free a judge who made by sending America's Pennsylvania's children to a detention center. You know what this sounds like? Thoughts and prayers.
It's definitely thoughts and prayers.
Administration after administration constantly telling you how much they do not care about your kids, whether they are gunned down while in a institution of learning, or whether a judge is selling them off to a homie for kickbacks.
To a private prison.
Yeah, this is the absolute
detention center.
Last person. This person is supposed to be in jail as an example.
For the rest of his old life.
Yeah.
And the reason a person like me who is non-carceral believes that is when you make $3 million off of sending black and brown children, and I'm talking children, some as young as 8.
Yeah.
The amount of lives that you have ruined, that you were completely willing to ruin, that you did not look at those little babies as humans. Those are numbers. Those are dollar signs. You don't get to be out in the free world. You don't get to talk about being remorseful. Not when you did that for years, and not when you did it so you could get a boat. And
the classism of it all, and the fact that you were also sending little white kids too. You did not care.
Poor is poor.
Right, exactly. You just did not care. Oh, you're in front of me? Bet. I'm sending you up.
You're done. And to be clear, this is not an exaggeration. These are things that kids would not, be arrested for, shouldn't be in front of a judge about. And if there were things, this would be a juvenile probation, community service, stuff like that. And you're actually locking kids up. So whatever their situation is with their family, completely changed. The amount of kids, we don't have the number, but what we are aware of is that many kids take their own lives in those scenarios because there is not an alternative view.
Right.
What's do y'all remember being in middle school or high school and being like, my life is over, and honestly thinking that was real?
Yeah, your whole life.
Imagine you're doing that from a detention center by yourself. And you were just told you'd be there for years.
For a mistake you made. Because you're a kid and you're supposed to have
because your brain don't work.
Yeah, you're supposed to have the ability to make mistakes and have adults help you correct it and have, better decisions the second time around, as opposed to now we're sending you to a detention center. Blobfish said, I'm from Chicago. Illinois has always had some stuff going on, at least since I've been around. So much corruption.
I mean, I know movie-wise, right? We'll get a lot of, like, in the 20s, all that crazy corruption happening in Chicago. The mob, the so-and-so.
Yeah, Tommy guns everywhere.
Yeah. When did it stop? Because literally, you got Henyard over in Dalton. You got Crumpwell or whatever, Grundle, whatever, out here stealing $54 million of people's money. And then you get to tell me about being remorseful? You did that over 2 decades, ma'am. You ain't that remorseful.
Rahm Emanuel, did you know he shut down 50 schools?
Thanks, Obama.
Sheesh. Woo.
This text from Caes says, Sleepy Biden said, y'all should have never subbed me out. And boy, if he ain't being a petty Betty, you're right. I mean, like, he just keeps kind of I just don't get it. I don't get these particular things because they do not help the legacy, sir. You're really rolling back that whole, oops, I learned my lesson about the 94 crime bill. Like, just kidding.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to continue to engage about this Juror 35 thing because the thing is the hearing is today.
I mean, we're going to have an update.
And so there will be an update. I know I've said this before, and then I don't know. I probably got sidetracked. I will be on our Instagram doing some sort of something updating about this because I am enthralled. And mostly because where I see this, I don't necessarily see this as a, landmark case. But I would love it if it were taken seriously to reconsider jury instructions to be modern. And to be to the modern people.
Yeah.
Because even my mom, who cannot, I love you, mommy, cannot use her phone the same way every single day. Like every day there's a different thing that either didn't work or a new thing that happened, She's going to go to Google if she has a question. Yep. She's going to zoom in on the photo. So this isn't just for the youngs, you know what I mean? Or the people that have had smartphones for a long time. The way that we process and receive information is different now. And our resources are different now. And when you say you can't research any of the case, cool, I'm not. I was researching how to get a better view of this thing. Well, do we get to do that or not? And I would say that this jury didn't think that they couldn't do that. Right? Because that is how we get some questions answered.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm mad. Fascinated.
Well, thank you guys for tuning into another episode of News with My Fiancé right here on X-Ray FM. For first-time listeners, you can catch us every Thursday morning, 7:30 a.m. to 9:06. And you can also catch us Monday nights live on YouTube from 6:30 to 8:30. You got to double up on y'all on this news. But today's show made possible by Morgan Jones and myself, DJ Ambush, our podcast editor, Kyle G. of Residual Audio.
Oops, sorry. Of Residual Audio. Sorry, Kyle.
I like the overlapping. I like that. It was in the background. It was subtle. Let's do that. I like that.
We'll try.
Okay. Shout out to all of you for texting throughout the show.
Big Fiancé energy.
Thank you, Blobfish. Thanks for the show. It was a good one. Thank you. All the text messages and all that will be in the show description as well as the playlist for today's show. And don't let the individuals distract you from the systems. Poverty is a policy choice. people over profits, power to the people. None of us are free until we are all free. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
And I got to interrupt the bye because I forgot something. Catch you guys this Sunday. Myself, DJ Cliff. No requests. It is a Wu-Tang tribute. Wu-Tang is for the children.
Wu-Tang love the kids.
Wu-Tang love the kids. All Wu, 6 to 9 this Sunday. Catch y'all outside.
Bring your gold fang.
Boom.
Bye.